Tyler Ramos.
Here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles Fake Out premiere. Not actually live, but kind of looks like it's live stream every single weekday right here at, I would have to assume, a little bit after 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because right now it's about 5:40 at the recording of this video. But what is going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys for being here tonight on this Friday night to spend some time with your boy Frankie Candles, to do a little bit of TA, guys. Unfortunately, I'm unable to go live tonight. I got some stuff I got to take care of, but I'm not going to leave you guys in the dark. I got to keep that candle lit for you. So we're going to give you guys this premiere. It's going to be a little bit more of a quick little market update. Probably going to do like a little 30-minute fake out live stream here. But I see you guys going nuts in chat. Shout out to the CandleMafia. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And Hannah, don't gift any memberships today because I'm not here to thank you. Well, I might be in chat potentially right now. I don't know, guys. But like I said, I don't want to leave you guys in the dark. I want to talk about Bitcoin, and we're kind of at a middle ground here, guys. I will say the indicators are a little bit mixed, but I want to show you guys kind of how I'm approaching this market. And if I think it's more likely to get a move up before a move down, and hint, hint, guys, it is a little bit hard to say right now. Obviously, we did get some interesting news that I will talk about in just a second before we get, right after we get into it, but we got that little bit of a dump down this morning, but we've kind of recovered most of it, and we're basically sitting at where we were basically all week, back in our range, our local range that we've been looking at. So I do want to go over that stuff with you guys, show you guys the key levels to the upside, and if we do get a break to the upside, where I'm looking to maybe stall out and get that serious resistance to come in. I want to talk about those targets, and then also I want to talk about this wick to the downside that we got, because if you guys have been watching my live streams, you will know that I've actually been leaning a little bit more towards a dump down closer to about 29,500. and we kind of got a little bit of a wick down to this level this morning. Is that move good enough for me to kind of say, hey, that was the dump I'm looking for, now I think we can continue up? Or do I think that was a little bit of a foreshadow for a bigger move to the downside? We're going to be covering it all on tonight's Fake Out live stream. But without further ado, guys, I would say what's up to chat, but I don't know who's in here because I can't see chat because you guys aren't even here yet. But shout out to everybody in chat right now. I see you, Creighton C. I know you're going to be answering the questions really well tonight. I know you're not going to get anything wrong. Dave Digital in the chat. We got Crypto Billy, Tyler Durden, Rob the Crypto Snob, Chemistry Bro, Darren Does Things in the house. What is going on? We got Hannah King and Jessica, our female CandleMafia representative in the house. I'm just kidding, guys. I can't see chat. But without further ado, guys, like I said, this is going to be a quick little market update, as honestly, Bitcoin really hasn't done anything too crazy. We've basically been buying around sideways for quite some time now, basically all week, just ranging sideways. Super, super boring. But let's go ahead and break down what we have, here on the charts. So let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. Here we go, guys. Today's episode is brought to you by Aztecian Cactus Moss Water, definitely not Celsius energy drink, and also brought to you guys by simple old Protein, guys, Protein. But anyway, here we go, guys. Let's take a look. First off, I want to go ahead and turn off that TA and just take a look at the indicators, and then I want to take a look at the price action, because I think the price action is really what's going to unlock our ability to kind of, look into where price is going to go, right? Because right now the indicators are a little bit confusing, but let's go ahead and break it all down for you. Now, weekly money flow is coming to the upside. Obviously, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. We talk about this every day. Money flow coming up. VWAP starting to roll over. Now, something to realize here, guys, is if we do get another move to the upside, which again, based off of the 4-hour money flow, you guys will know I talked about this yesterday. Money flow coming out on the 4-hour. This is generally a sign of more downside. Doesn't mean we're going to get it, but this is very rarely wrong. This money flow is very rarely wrong, but I'm going to get more into this in a second. However, if we do wind up just getting a rip to the upside, I want to talk about kind of where I think price would go and what kind of decisions I'd be making at that point, right? So if we take a look here, we have the money flow coming to the upside on the weekly. VWAP starting to round over. We're most likely very likely not going to get a red dot here anytime soon. It's definitely not going to happen on Sunday. I don't even know if it'll happen next week. It's a little too soon to say, but what I see when I look at this, or at least when I look at the weekly, is something very interesting. And it is the fact that, let me come over to the fresh chart real quickly, because, just so I can see a little bit more of a clear view of what we're looking at. Now, as you can see, if we get this move to the upside, I'm not going to talk about the key levels just yet, but let's say we get a push to the upside, and as you guys know, this is, right now, we are forming somewhat of a bull flag. Now, I am not the biggest pattern trader. I don't really make decisions based off patterns. I do take them into consideration in my analysis, and this is definitely a bull flag, right? Some people are looking at it as a bull pennant. Right now, as you guys saw just before, TradingView sees it as a bull flag with a potential technical target all the way up here at about $36,000 almost. We do have a local golden pocket or a macro golden pocket kind of starting at about 35 to 60. But obviously, I don't think we would just instantly rip up to this level. But that is kind of where that could wind up leading us to. However, it's pretty interesting right now because this is definitely a bullish sign, right? This is a bullish continuation pattern. We may see this break to the upside, but what happens if we do wind up getting that? Well, if that does happen, guys, and we wind up coming up a bit more on Bitcoin before coming down, and we wind up getting a move up like this, let's say we reject somewhere in that region. There's much more resistance than the levels that we just looked at, but let's just say we come up and make a higher high. The weekly could be setting up, guys, for a potential weekly bearish divergence. And if we are going to get that move up and we wind up getting this momentum wave to make that lower high, this is just something to keep your eye on. Again, this is likely not going to happen soon, but if we do wind up getting this to print and present itself with a higher high on the weekly, this would be a pretty strong short signal, at least for me in the medium term. It doesn't mean we're necessarily going to zero, but a weekly bear div is not going to be something that you want to take lightly, especially if we wind up coming into some of these strong resistance levels. Maybe we even make it all the way up here to that macro POC, right? Because at that point, maybe we have flipped that value area low to support. We would expect to come up to the POC. We also have that golden pocket that we were looking at sitting right there as well. So if we do get that move to the upside and we do come up to one of those key levels, especially the point of control, we would expect some turbulence at that level. And if we wind up getting that weekly bearish divergence to print, this would be a big signal that we are at least going to cool off and maybe come back down and retest that value area low as support again. But I just see this kind of forming on Market Cypher. Looks like we may go ahead and try to put that in. It's way too soon to really nail down if that's the case or not. But this is something that I am looking at because it's kind of spotting these things happening before they actually print. That is going to be able to get you that entry before you actually before we actually see Bitcoin start to move down, right? You want to be able to see these moves before they happen, and it does look like we may start to form something like that. But again, in order for that to happen, we do. I will point this out. We do technically have a bearish divergence here on the weekly already. However, we would want to wait for that red dot to print, so it's not confirmed yet. But we are starting to form one. We have a slightly higher high. I would really like to have a higher a higher high come in. For me to really take that seriously, but technically it is still there. You can see it a little better on the wicks. You actually do have a higher high on your wicks here with lower highs on your momentum waves. You would want to wait for that red dot to print. So there's still plenty of time for this to get invalidated and all that good stuff, but just something I'm keeping an eye on that you guys should watch as well, because before you know it, if we're going to get that move up, before you know it, we're going to be at higher prices and looking for the next move, and that might be the next big swing short to be looking at. But continuing on, guys, 6-day VWAP is looking to roll back over, looking for that red dot. Money flow still in the green. Again, bearish divergence is there. So this is actually much more likely to print sooner than the weekly, but we still have 5 days left. We do still have 5 days and 3 hours left to confirm this candle and print another one, and that's likely when we'll see that red dot come in if we're going to get it. So still a little too soon to say, but we are getting that bearish divergence into a very key level of resistance that right now we cannot break, right? We rejected here, put up another candle. We are closing our candles below this on the 6-day, giving us a potential bear div. When that prints, it may be able to give us a bigger move to the downside, right? And obviously that is assuming that we're not going to get that pump, right? So on the weekly, we need that pump really for this to become a strong bearish divergence. And then on the 6-day, we technically have one here looking to print probably in the next 5 days. But there's a lot of time that needs to go by to get these signals to print. We would need a pretty heavy dump to just start printing this red dot soon. Not impossible, but this is obviously the higher time frames. It's going to take time for this stuff to play out. Just some things you got to keep your eye on. Now, moving down to some of our lower time frames, taking a look at the 4-day, not really a low time frame. VWAP coming down on the 4-day as well. As you guys know on the live stream, we've been looking for this money flow to come up because of the way the 3-day money flow was coming up so strongly. The 4-day has recently been kind of the only higher time frame that's looked a little more bearish with the money flow coming out, and we were hoping that 3-day money flow was going to start leaking into the 4-day, and you can see here it is starting to tick up, which is a good sign. However, in the longer term, right? Because our VWAP is coming down, indicating some potential short-term moves to the downside coming before we continue to the upside. Again, guys, based off of money flow, I am bullish. I do think we will eventually come up to these higher highs, but VWAPs on these higher daily timeframes are starting to come to the downside, indicating a short-term cool-off. It's really that bull pennant that is kind of throwing a wrench in things. If we did not have this bullish pennant or this bullish flag printing on the higher time frames, I would be very, very comfortable calling for more downside in the short term. But that really bullish pattern is kind of making me a little questionable here. But again, I'm just looking at the charts and what they're telling me. And if we get that red dot on the 3-day, it is likely going to give us a little bit more downside. 2-day is going to be the thing here to watch over the weekend, guys. If we print this red dot on the 2-day, we are going to be printing a technical bearish divergence on the 2-day time frame, which is really nothing to take lightly, right? You have a slightly higher high on your price action with your lower highs on your momentum waves. Once you print that red dot, that is going to be the first thing to look at. Now, again, not the strongest divergence, but it is there. So if we print that red dot over the weekend, we may start to see some blood. Now, again, That is assuming that we don't just absolutely rip out of that bull pennant. It is a choppy and tricky market right now, guys, because we had that bull pennant, right? And it was looking really good. And then if you look at something like the daily, it was looking like a beautiful bull flag coming down here, and then boom, we're getting hit with this absolutely savage doji candle. And you guys know doji candles indicate indecision in the market. So things are very unclear right now. The indicators, at least Market Cipher, is potentially calling for some more downside before our next leg up. But there is a chance. I want to caution people. There's no way to know this 100%. I want to caution you. This could break to the upside, and there's really no way to tell. The indicators are not matching up. And because I look at Market Cipher so often, I know that when money flow is coming out on these time frames like this, and it's looking the way it is with the higher time frame red dots looking to print like the 2-day, especially with this bear div, like 9 out of 10 times it gives you more downside, right? But again, you just have that wrench. Shout out to Dave Digital. It just throws that wrench in the machine here with this bullish pattern. So I just want you guys to be aware of both scenarios. I would still kind of just lean a little bit more towards some downside just because of the way the indicators look. But again, guys, I could be wrong, or the indicator could give us a false signal here, as that does happen time to time. And I'm going to show you guys how I'm basically hedging myself to not miss the move in either direction, right? Just because we don't know if it's going up or down, sometimes it's more clear than not. Right now, it's very unclear. But again, I am leaning a little bit more bearish. Starting to come up towards neutral, but I would still lean a little bit more bearish just in the short term, right? In the long term, I definitely think we're coming higher, but in the short term, it is looking like we could get some more downside. In the medium term, I would say, right? With this 2-day red dot is kind of what I would be looking for. Now, coming on over to the daily. This is where the bull pennant looks like it might start to break out, right? Like this is where like the bulls start to win some points with me. The daily VWAP. This is another thing I'm watching. Really, the 2-day red dot and the daily green dot is really what I'm looking for, because there's two main scenarios that I'd be looking for, right? Either the 16 hours part of this as well, because the 16-hour VWAP is rolling back to the upside, may print a green dot, and I'll show you kind of the two scenarios. The bullish scenario is that we get this green dot on the 16-hour, the 12-hour as well, which, again, to add more insult, not insult to injury, but to add more murkiness to the water, we have technically have a bearish divergence on the 12-hour, which would obviously call for more downside. So that's another point for the bears. But on the daily and the 16-hour, if we get this green dot on the 16-hour and it winds up being able to break us out of this bull flag and we get a move, we'll talk about some targets in a second. One of them is about $32,000. If we get that push up to about $32K, our momentum wave is likely going to get a move up like this. And if we do that and we start to reject from here and we get a red dot on our momentum wave here on the 16-hour, that will give us a 16-hour bearish divergence, in which case that is where I would expect to cool off. So that would be something I would be looking for, and then maybe that is where we get that more downside to continue. You get the 16-hour green dot. The daily green dot follows suit, gives you the green dot on the daily. I don't know why I said that twice. That gives you the move to the upside. And then on the 2-day, kind of what that would look like is basically what that would look like on the 2-day is you would get a little support on the 0 line, right? And your VWAP would kind of creep up a little bit like this, get a little further away from the 0 line. And then once that 16-hour bearish divergence prints and confirms, right? And you get it like that, you get the bearish divergence. You guys know what you're looking at this point if you watch the channel. But once you get that bearish divergence, maybe that is where your 2-day starts to print that red dot. And what that would do also would give you a stronger bearish divergence on the 2-day as long as your momentum wave stayed below this one. As long as you can even come up a little bit more. But if you maintain that lower high in your momentum wave, it would give you a stronger angle on this 2-day bear div. And then that might be able to bring you down a lot. So it's kind of the classic up or down, guys. I'll be honest with you, right? Either we're going to have that 16-hour green dot pop us up in the short term, get that daily green dot to push us up in the short term, and then that will set us up for bigger bear divs on the 2-day, and then that would also potentially set us up for a stronger bear div on the weekly whenever that presents itself as well. So that's kind of the two major scenarios for the move to the upside. Very similar to yesterday. Move to the upside, I'd look for that 16-hour green dot because that will likely leak into the daily, and then that daily green dot will likely give you more upside. That's what I'd be looking for a move to the upside for sure. And then for the move to the downside, guys, let's talk about it. Again, 2-day bearish divergence would be the main thing, right? If you get this before we get a move to the upside, it would indicate more downsides to come first, right? I hope I'm not confusing everybody. It's a little confusing out there right now. But that's what I would be looking at for upside. And then, again, downside, 2-day bear div. And then also, guys, I mean, this 4-hour money flow, right? This 4-hour money flow is coming to the downside. Not the best look, right? Oftentimes, when money flow is coming out, that is looking for a crossover into the red, and then that's where you're going to get more downside. But again, when the bulls come out and rear their heads, it doesn't care about the indicators, right? So unfortunately, guys, it's really murky waters out there, but I'll kind of show you how I'm hedging myself and going to be prepared in either direction, because we're just going to you're going to wind up finding points in the market where you just don't know what's going to happen. And almost all the time, right? But like sometimes the charts are a little more blurry than you would expect or than you would like, really. But kind of what I'm doing here, guys, simply watching the volume profile. Right? We have been absolutely crushing the trades in the premium Discord all week in this volume profile, because it's been really reliable, really clean range from the high to the low, to the high, to the low, to the high, to the low, right? And now we got another bounce to the high, and now we are potentially coming back down to the low. I don't know if we're going to make it down there. But guys, all I'm doing is making sure that we're back in this range. That would be bullish to me, right? Nice long wick on the bottom of this candle could indicate that there was strong buying pressure. This was actually a lot of longs getting stopped out. This was basically a big candle of longs getting wrecked. And then obviously we did get the news that the Bitcoin ETF was denied, right? Really, what this is all about, guys, it's not that it was kind of denied, but basically there were problems. It was an inadequate application, essentially, and they need more information regarding what exchanges BlackRock and I believe Fidelity as well are going to use for their ETF. So it wasn't like just completely rejected. It was just like, hey, this application's no good. Like, we need more information type thing. And that's basically what created this move to the downside this morning. However, I didn't even know the news until after the move happened. This is actually a setup that we had in the premium Discord from all the way back in earlier. I think on Monday I posted the setup for a swing failure pattern at this level. So we were just looking to short the technical target or the technical signal, and it absolutely nuked right down to the value area low and below and beyond. So we got a little extra gains out of that one. But again, just another one of those situations where it's like, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, right? Like, I was looking for this short setup all the way since Monday, and then this morning we came up, tapped the level, saw the swing failure pattern, and then boom, it hit our take profit like in like 5 minutes. I think it was like basically that 5-minute candle ripped us right down to our target. So it's nice when you get in those trades and it just absolutely hits instantly. Doesn't always happen, but again, just very interesting that the news happened to be there. But I was looking for that trade on Monday. Like, explain to me how that works. But anyway, again, and this is basically how I'm playing things. If we come back down to the value area low, I will be looking for longs, right? Just scalp longs, looking to get up back to the value area high. And then if we break out, right, that bull flag winds up breaking out to the upside, I'm in a long position from the bottom of the range, right? Same thing if we come back to the high. If we come back to the high, I would be looking for shorts, right? And then looking to target the low of the range. And then if price action decides to break down from the value area low and we get a bigger move down, we will turn that little scalp trade from the high to the low of the range into an absolute home run grand slam trade. It's just like the typical way that we trade on this channel, and this is why we do this, because for times like this where you're unsure of things, at that point, if you're able to hedge yourself and you're trading these ranges, you don't really care which way it breaks out, because you're likely going to be in a position from the high or the low of the range. That's why I love trading like this. But that's kind of how I'm handling things at the moment. Now, one more thing I do want to cover, guys, is I want to come over to this other chart. And yeah, here we go. This is, let me unhide this TA. Now, this is the interesting thing, guys. Let's talk about the key levels now before I wind up wrapping this up. How long have we been going for? Okay, yeah, we're perfectly on time here. Now, I want to talk about levels, right? As you guys know, we've been looking at some important key levels, right? If we do get a bigger move to the downside, the biggest level of support that I am looking at is this blue box between about 29,500 and about 29,200. Here's the thing. We got this wick down. Now, this was basically the move down. If you guys remember from yesterday's live stream, I was talking about, how even with the money flow, right? Like, I'm not expecting a big giant move down to zero, right? Like, I'm not expecting a complete nuke here. I would expect a small pull down potentially to the value area low at about 28.8K. If we did make it all the way down there, I would be definitely looking to load up some swing longs. I will also be looking at this level to load up on some longs if I get the right confirmations and the charts look good at the time. However, there's no guarantee we get down there. But here's the thing. We did technically wick down almost perfectly to the top of this blue box at about $29,500. Obviously, $29,515. Now, was that enough for me to be like, okay, that was the tap of the level I was looking for, and if you missed your long here, you missed the entry? But here's the thing. Money flow would still technically be calling for more downside here. I would like to see some more candle closes down here and then really come deeper into this blue box. So that's really my ideal situation. I really would rather not break to the upside right now. I would rather reject this lower high, break out of our range, come play around in this blue box, and be looking for longs in here. If we don't get the signal and we come lower, I will be looking for longs here. Hopefully we would get the signal here. Otherwise, we would be looking for some much more downside for Bitcoin. I won't talk about that today, but we'll worry about that bridge when we get there, cross that bridge when we get there. But it's just even more confusion, right? So again, money flow is still coming out here. So it would indicate money flow is indicating some more, potential downside. Remember, price action likes to put lower highs in at these local golden pockets, which we are testing right now. VWAP on the 4-hour is coming up. So again, I am just playing this range right now, guys, looking for shorts at the highs or deviations from the highs. If we wind up coming out of here, I would zoom out and stop looking at this range, right? And I would wouldn't delete all this, but you could zoom out and then look at your more macro value area. You have a key level up here at 31,320. Or 31,330. Key level here, POC, obviously at about $30,000 even. And then your major key level, but really the value area you're looking at is your value area high up here, POC right here, and value area low down here, right? So, again, I'm just looking at ranges within ranges. If we come up to the high and we reject here, I'll look for shorts if I get the signals. If we come up here, I know that we're at another value area high, so if I'm getting bearish signals here, that might mean we are going to get rejected again and come back down towards the low. But these are the key levels to watch. If we come back down, I would love to load up some longs at the blue box. If it doesn't stick there, looking down towards the value area low. And because we have rejected the value area high up here, we would technically, even though price action's messy, we would expect to potentially come down to the value area low. And again, it's not 100% guaranteed. Nothing is. But that's what I would expect based off of the money flow and the volume profile. It's really just that bull flag that is fighting against us here. And that 16-hour green dot and daily green dot do look like they may want to give us more upside. Money flow curving back up on the daily as well. So again, just hedging and playing both sides of the card right now. Yeah. If we get that breakout, the levels I'm looking at for resistance, if we do get that breakout, I'll come over to the 6-hour. We'll take a look at that pennant or that flag. Now, again, technical target is up here closer to about $36,000. Likely we won't get a straight shot up there. We will eventually could wind up at that target. However, we could also, really a level that I'm looking at is this purple box starting at about $32,392. This would be a big level for me. And then all within this purple box, we have a golden pocket as well as some other levels coming from basically these wicks, right? So again, this box is between about $32,360 and $33,444. So if that bull flag does break out to the upside, these are the key levels I am looking at. And then again, that whole short setup that I showed you guys on the longer time frames or the higher time frames would possibly present themselves here or even higher. So yeah, it's I really hate these points in the markets, not because I don't like trading them, because like I said, the way I handle these ranges and stuff, I don't care if it breaks up or down for the most part. Oftentimes, again, I am long or short from either end of the range, so whatever way we break up or down, I'm able to profit off of that move. But I just hate it because it's hard to explain when the indicators are not showing clear signals. It's hard to explain to you guys what to look for because when you trade, like you kind of get into your natural like I know what to look for. I've been looking at Market Cipher for so long that like I almost know when it's going to give me a false signal. So it's like it's really hard to kind of explain to you guys. So I will leave you guys with this. I'm gonna start to wrap this up. I'm not gonna do any altcoins. But I just wanted to give you guys the key levels. If we come back down, this blue box and the value area low at 28.8 are going to be key. If we get a move to the upside, two of the major key levels are going to be this value area high at 31,350, and then if we break out from there, $32,390 is going to be the start of this purple box. We also have a spider line. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but we do have I will pull it up, actually. I'll just go non-log. We do have a non-logarithmic spider line coming in here almost at $32,000 even. So that would be another level to watch as well. It's all about knowing the levels to watch, and then when you approach that level, looking for the signals to enter a trade. You don't want to rip up here and then just automatically short the spider line or automatically short this purple box. You need to look for the entry signals. So that's very important. I just wanted to kind of bring that up. But that's what we're looking for, guys. And again, bullish case, I'll leave you with this. The bullish case I would be looking at is the 16-hour green dot. If the 16-hour green dot prints, that I think will likely be the thing, along with the daily money flow coming up and green dot looking to print as well. I think that will likely be the thing to break you out of this bull flag if it's going to happen. But again, for the bearish side, and I think you'll see that wind up happening before the bearish case will, right? So, if we are going to break up, I think it will happen before, we'll know first, right? Because that 16-hour green dot is going to print likely before we get the 2-day red dot, right? Just because of the way the time frames work. We have a day and 2 hours to print another candle here. The 16-hour prints another candle in 2 hours, right? So we might get that green dot in 2 hours, and maybe that's where we get the breakout. But again, if that 16-hour green dot kind of just lets you live within this value area high and you don't break this high, and then it starts to roll back over, and even if you wick out of here a little bit and you put in that higher high, if that 16-hour green dot does not give you a big move with the daily green dot, then that's, if this daily green dot and 16-hour green dot are lackluster, that's where I would start to think like, hey, that was like the Bulls' chance to get that move to the upside, and if they can't push it up there, that 2-day red dot when it prints may be the thing to actually break us to the downside, and now you guys have the key levels to watch. And with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's quick little premiere. Like I said, I have some stuff I have to get done today, so I'm sorry I wasn't able to live stream, but I didn't want to leave you guys in the dark, and to be 100% honest with you guys, nothing has really happened. We're kind of in the same situation as we were yesterday. So if you saw yesterday's live stream, you're basically up to date on everything. Not much has changed other than like some indicator stuff has changed slightly. But other than that, guys, that's what I'm looking at. We will do the giveaways on Monday, and I will be uploading a Chainlink pre-recorded video. I believe it's going to be a Chainlink video. So that will be on Sunday for our Sunday Sauce video. And for the giveaways on Monday, that will probably be the video that you have to like, comment, and be a subscriber, like, and comment on to get entered in. So keep a lookout for that video. Watch it, like it, comment on it, and you'll get entered into the giveaways. And again, guys, if I had to lean one way for you, because I know everybody hates hearing it could go up or it could go down, even though that's just the straight fact of how the market works. But I will say this. I would lean, especially once that green dot prints on the 16-hour, if it doesn't give us a big move, guys, I would lean towards a move to the downside in the medium term, and I would look for the 4-hour money flow crossover into the red to kind of begin that bigger move down. In the short term, I will just pull the chart up one more time. I didn't really go over the super short term because nothing has really changed. In the short term, 4-hour VWAP is coming up. We may be able to continue back up to this value area high and maybe even here. And then if we do get that move up off this VWAP on the 4-hour, that's likely going to make the 16-hour creep up for a green dot. And then, if that breakout's going to happen, I think it will happen soon. So again, like for the next big move up, I think the chances of this bull flag breaking out are going to be highest on this 4-hour green dot, because this 4-hour green dot, if it gives us a move up, it's going to inch that green dot on the 16-hour, which would assist a bigger move up, which would push into the daily, right? Which could cause an even bigger move up, right? And then that would likely have the VWAP on the 2-day get a little bit of a bounce off that 0 line. And then wherever we wind up topping out, we get those bearish confirmations. Again, like I showed you in the beginning of the stream, I would look for those bearish divergences on the 16-hour. And then, just on the 16 hours, basically where I would be looking. 12-hour could even give you one as well. But again, 12-hour bear div, guys. It's confusing out there. But now you guys kind of know my plan. Be safe out there. Again, 4-hour green dot is going to be likely to give us a move to the upside in the short term. But again, watch that money flow on the 4-hour time frame. And with all that being said, guys, I am finally That's all I got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Yeah, hopefully you guys are having fun in chat. And yeah, have a good weekend. Be safe, guys. Go outside and look at a tree or something, or go stargaze or something that doesn't have to do with staring at blue light on your computer. Go hang out with your family. Hang out with your kids. Yeah, I'm going to go hang out with DZ. Mrs. Candles. I don't know why I mixed it. It doesn't even sound similar. I just mix up their name constantly. But anyway, guys, with all that being said, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you guys on Monday, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I will be live. I won't fake you guys out again. And with all that being said, that's all I got. I'll see you guys. You know the spiel. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Shout out to DZ, ATB. Bing bong.
Tyler Ramos.
You guys want to know something really interesting? Here's the Frankie fake out. I wasn't going to do it because this video is, it's already 6:13 right now. So you guys are probably like, where's Frankie? He's not going live. What's going on? Content's coming. But really interestingly, guys, they rejected these ETFs. And you know what's funny? They just recently approved a 2x leverage Bitcoin ETF, which is wild. For more than one reason. I'm not going to get into it because it's a fake out. But yeah, they approved a 2x leverage Bitcoin ETF, and then there's like, no, we can't approve the spot Bitcoin ETFs. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to get too far into it, but I forgot to say that. Pretty crazy. I do think these ETFs will get approved eventually, right? And I do think, again, if a company's going to do it, it's going to be BlackRock, or an entity is going to do it, it's BlackRock. Yeah, It's wild stuff out there. I think it will get approved eventually. Like I said, they basically just rejected the application. So I think it will get approved eventually. And when that does happen, I think it's going to be absolute gasoline on the fire that they call the Bitcoin bull run. But yeah, guys, that's all I got. Mrs. Candles her plastic is all squeaking over there. She's getting impatient. So I got to get out of here, guys. I love each and every single one of you. I'll see you on Monday. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.